Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNativeBloodyElbow.com. I am filthy, exhausted, unwashed, and somewhat slightly dazed. MMA media is a whore. T-shirts.
In other words, it's just a normal day.
It's just another day, hungover, bleary-eyed from blogging too much, Eugene. I've been blogging so much. People don't know what it's like to have to work so hard with all the blogging.
Oh, yeah, me too. I call it blogging too.
I was also bravely fighting the Twitter street fights of Ferguson last night from behind my keyboard warrior status, so it was a beautiful thing. And Eugene, if you could talk for maybe 4 minutes while I do this fucked up stupid thing I have to do, and introduce the show and do the disclaimer, and then we will begin.
No, okay, wait. I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Exactly. That's
why you're here. You
don't
tell me what I talk about. I am going to talk about whatever I feel like. Okay, the care don't care preview. Listen, for you guys out there, you cry babies, you know, look, if you're going to get your feelings hurt over this, don't come crying to us. Go to marketing at the UFC, Sean Shelby, Joe Silva, complain about how they're not putting enough juice behind you, because this is not about you. It's about how much marketing they put behind you. So, you know, so take it up.
And your fighting performance and pre- and post-fight talk. Don't forget that.
Correct. And those, so bring it up with somebody else. Don't take it personally. In other words, if you see us at shows, don't try it. Right, we're not built to take that kind of abuse.
Definitely not my case.
I myself am almost an AARP member. You know, kindly old Eugene Robinson, choking and punching his way through life.
With a concealed carry, as he revealed in his last episode.
I did not. That was jokes.
That was jokes. Just jokes. Me too. I do not have a can of Hornet spray in the car door and a truncheon under the car seat. I do not. I'm sorry. So just
you know what? You stop short at a traffic stop. That shit rolls forward in California. You're spending the night in the stony lonesome, my friend.
It's true. It's true. It's ugly stuff. Wouldn't carry anything that wasn't legal because my wife is a prosecutor, so there. All right, so we're here to talk about...
Your wife is a what?
A prosecutor, an assistant district attorney. She puts people in jail.
Okay, I thought you were pretty progressive. I didn't hear
no. I don't have the game. Do you see a pimp hand here? Do you see a pimp hand here? No.
You do have a car antenna.
I do have a car antenna, but I'm afraid she wears lovely dresses to prosecute scary criminals, but she's a much more serious and formidable person than I am, and that's why she's not making a fool of herself in public places and instead saves it for the courtroom.
I've seen your wife. I don't know how you managed to pull that off, but good for you.
That's the mystery, isn't it? But it's the gift of gab or something. I don't know. It's not because I'm a good person. I can tell you.
I imagine it was because she was prosecuting you, but you know.
I've never merited anything beyond even a misdemeanor citation, Eugene. I just haven't. I've never been.
It's like busting Hitler for jaywalking. All right, Nazis in the first 3 minutes.
The first 3 minutes, and I brought up Ferguson. We are wildly off topic already, so it's a beautiful day. I got to hit publish on this post because I want to put a plug in for Tommy Toehold. He's beginning his exclusive videos for the SB Nation Network, so if you dig that stuff, watch that.
How come Tommy Toehold ain't got me on his show? What's with that?
I might have a hookup. Did you see the one where we made fun of Luke Thomas? It was as funny as it was devastating.
Oh, really? Nah,
I know you're the only MMA media star in your celestial firmament, Eugene. So forgive me for bringing.
A friend of mine recently texted me. He goes, "I'm gonna have sex with Monica Bellucci," and I was like, "All right, I want to be there to film it." And he goes, "Okay, what's your schedule like?" I go, "Anytime." I go, "What's her schedule like?" He's like, it doesn't line up well with yours." I go, "I just said anytime." He goes, "Oh, I see. That's on the never schedule." You know what else is on that never schedule? Number 4 on my never schedule, getting a black belt.
No, don't give up hope, Eugene. You're on purple already. It only took you a decade to make blue.
Hey, you know who's sitting across the room? You know who's sitting across the room from me right now, laughing at me? Coach Dream Crusher, Leopoldo Serral. So, the
man himself. Well, he's got a timeline for you, Eugene. He's got a vision and a plan that ends in a black belt wrapped around your waist and maybe a world title.
He said he's going to give it to me February 31st.
February 31st.
A Brazilian joke.
Superman's birthday is February 29th, but we really do need to talk about
the care don't care.
But do we care about this card? As a rule, this week, has been a fucked up, shitty week in the MMA world. I want to apologize to everybody for all the War Machine and Christy Mack coverage. We can't help it. We're in business, and it's become an important story. Fucking Nancy Grace is out there crucifying both the War Machine and Christy Mack.
Crucifying Christy Mack on the grounds of what?
Porno, because Nancy Grace is a prude and a judgmental biatch. So it's just,
Well, I've never seen her work, Christy
Max. I can't remember if I Googled her or not. I saw some still photos. I thought she was a.
Can't remember if you Googled her or not. All right.
These days, dude. Back in the box cover days when you went in the store and you had to do the walk of shame and everything. Okay. Hey, I'm a loser. Here's my weekend. What a dismal walk. Now that you've got I remember when I was a kid and you'd see a guy whose dad had a stack of old Playboys, and you think, God, what a disgusting pervert. He must be Ted Bundy. And now, everybody and their dog has, all the pornography in the world right at their computer. Anyway.
It's like the movie Lucy, where at the end of the movie, she takes the entire history of creation and puts it on a fucking thumb drive and gives it to the dude before she disappears into the ether. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Really? Why doesn't she put it on an 8-track tape or a CD-ROM?
It's true.
Entire history of the universe. There you go.
It should be plugged right in. Do you know where the singularity is, Eugene? You're a Silicon Valley guy. This is a fucking cult where these lunatics believe we're all going to be uploading our brains into the God computer. Yeah, it is fucking nonsense. It's scary. And you know who believes in it? Sergey Brin, the head of Google, allegedly, I'm under the impression, goes to the Singularity University and shit. So. If you think you don't want to live in, say, Utah because you don't like Mormons.
Well, I can't talk crap about a teammate.
Of course not. Of course not. Sorry to bring up a painful topic.
However, I'm gonna quote Carl Panzram here and say that I wish that they all had one neck and I had my hands on it.
The most misanthropic person I am aware of, Carl Panzram. I would say the late great, but definitely nothing really to admire about Carl Panzram unless it was his honesty and prose style. Guy was a powerful writer, but a horrible, horrible person.
His favorite stunt that, of course, was unrealized, much like Gigi Allen and his Halloween Day on-stage suicide. Carl Panzram had taken an insurance policy out on a commuter train line. And his objective was to take all 250 people on this train and drive the train off a cliff down a ravine into a river down below, killing everybody on board and collecting the insurance. And they apparently got him before he had done that.
Well, I doubt he's one of those cats that I think may have been a better talker than killer, and so. Yeah,
another Henry Lee Lucas,
Exactly, and Lucas was actually, I believe, just a dupe in the game of the late Round Rock sheriff who lives. That was an hour north of me, and they recently got in big trouble because that same sheriff had framed and falsely convicted a guy whose wife was murdered, it turns out, by a serial killer, but the sheriff knew he was guilty because they'd rented a porno movie the night before and railroaded this cat into prison for 25 years. His name was Michael Morton, and it was a big deal here in Texas. Bad doing. So that asshole that convicted Henry Lee Lucas was really bad. And we are going to talk about cage fights, I swear, kids, but one more point I want to make up. George Bush actually pardoned Lucas in a couple of those cases where it was proven he was innocent, as opposed to Rick Perry, who knowingly, it is believed, executed an innocent man. The reports showing his innocence arrived on Perry's desk. He didn't bother to read them, snuffed the dude, and actually sort of brags about that. I've heard Republicans in Texas say, takes balls to kill an innocent man. So that's what we're dealing with. Anyway, but what we're supposed to be dealing with is UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1 this Saturday.
UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1, Force 5, 3XRTZ.
It's so simple. You just need cable and the internet. Anybody could find it. You need cable, the internet, broadband, some telepathic connections, and Fox Sports 2 this time. No fights on Fight Pass. The prelims are all on Fox Sports 2. So good luck finding that. Fortunately, I'm told some of these scallywags can stream that sort of stuff too, as it is. Anyway, so
these ruffians, these rapscallions.
So what's your general care level after the shitty, horrible week I've had personally, and publicly, the stuff going on in the world of MMA is just, I'm ready to see some guys having fair fights.
Well, first of all, I realize that a mechanism at work here it's called fundamental kind of denial. And to quote Devo about wind and sails, or paraphrase, what took the wind out of my sails this week was the John Jones Cormier thing.
Oh man, yes.
Because I had been super geeked to do this, and the only way that I can make my peace with this, is to imagine that this is part of John Jones's master plan to actually force a challenger runoff between DC and Gustafsson.
That could be you're ascribing agency, which.
But I realize that's really super threadbare because nobody's going to do that. The fight has been postponed to January 3rd because the excitement and the heat off of DC versus John Jones was huge enough to justify that being the fight that they postponed instead of saying, oh, well, since he's hurt, dude's hurt, he's healthy, let's have him fight fucking Gustafsson on January 3rd because that's a fight that makes sense. Gustafsson got laughed, going to fucking the Twitter versus not going to help you, Jack. And, if
you should be out there. You should be out there making a ruckus and being controversial because you're a fighter. I mean, that's what you need to speak up, step up, talk shit, throw down,
Yeah. Right. Oh, you mean Gustafsson?
Yeah. He needs to be out there beating his chest and doing everything a silverback gorilla would do to say, hey, I'm the alpha male in this pack. He doesn't need to be rolling. But, yeah, that John Jones thing, that was just one last shitty kick in the balls. And did you hear who he was training with when he got hurt?
Yeah, Overeem.
Alistair Overeem, Mr. Teamwork himself.
I knew it was going to turn to that. Do you think, it's like, I really imagine it wasn't his fault, but I can't help but think that everybody at Jackson's is looking at him like, huh.
Yeah.
Hey, Alistair, could you come here for a second? Yeah, I think we're going to go another way on this whole training thing.
Indeed, because you got to know where you are in the hierarchy and who's buttering the bread for everybody there at the gym. And you might have a point that if they were cool with what happened, we might not have heard who he was training with when he got hurt. The fact that it's already out there means somebody in the Jackson camp wasn't happy with Mr. Overeem, or they wouldn't have run to the press. Which, as my T-shirt says, Steph Daniels got me this. MMA media is a whore. So
except for me, I'm trying.
You're trying to
whore myself out.
53rd and 3rd. I'm the one they never picked.
The one that I was just gonna say. We're the ones they never picked.
D.D. Ramon out there on the corner, just like us. But the War Machine traffic's been going great. Eugene, everybody's been linking to us. Daily Beast, Reddit. I mean, it's like this is the Salon.com quoted me the other day in a story completely crucifying MMA on all the same old bullshit that was generally apt points. Rampage's rape joke video and everything. Anyway,
you know what? I'm gonna step around this for a bit and do something that nobody else has ever done in regards to Christy Mack, a discussion that nobody else has had. You remember at Catch 22 where I think it was Colonel Cathcart, they broke the universe into two sides of the universe. Feather in the cap or black eye.
Yes.
Because there's not a single thing that you couldn't separate it to. Okay, so I'm going to say right here, right now, this is clearly, I will get Brooke with no disagreement on this, a black eye for MMA.
Yes.
However, here we go for the controversy. I say this is a feather in the cap for porno.
It is, because it's a great chance for people to tell people like Nancy Grace, there's nothing wrong with doing porn, and she doesn't deserve this.
It humanizes porno. It gives it a public face. The sympathy is running. I'm not saying that this is any way contrived and she's running some PR thing, but you took Christy Mack from a whore to Christy Mack, a girl next door who's just, it's like one of those old 1930s musicals. She's plucky, she's talented, she's got chutzpah, and it's terrible that she's been beaten up and hospitalized, and of course now they're making all these fucking connections to connections, mind you, that haven't been made when Mr. Money Mayweather bounced his wife's head off the wall,
again. Multiple domestic violence charges and public brawls, but Mayweather never beat anybody, to my knowledge, this badly.
And also he didn't flee. You
No.
know,
Mayweather manned up. That's the difference between Mayweather and Mr. Copenhagen is Mayweather manned up and he did his time. He went to court, the whole bit, man.
Well,
You know.
also, I think the predatory centers of our brains. We if somebody runs, we want to chase.
Hell yeah. I mean, we either live in a society or we don't. And after Ferguson last night, that's arguable, but at least the governor of Missouri is finally stepping up and pulling Barney Fife out of his tank and sending him home. You know, but we can't have a society if we don't agree on some shared rules. And if you can't agree on those rules, we have lots of for-profit prisons where we can turn you into a profit center for some evil corporation. And for the most part, I'm not too down with that, but in this case, by all means, take them away as long as you want.
All right, but in the name of devil's advocacy, just in the name of devil's advocacy, you know, these people are making the claims, and I've read the headlines, and I can't get more than knee deep in it. But just now that we're amongst friends, can we entertain the prospect?
We've got 11 viewers, Eugene, so it's
there you go.
Public.
So if there's something endemic about the nature of the sports and the personalities involved in it, and a propensity for outside of the cage violence. I mean, I already have a good sense of my answer and my take on that. You know, but my response is very Israeli. You know, and that I say, oh, I see. MMA is a problem because no football player has ever hit his wife in the face. You know. No hockey player has ever thrown his wife down a flight of stairs. No, you know.
No country western singer has ever stomped his wife to death with his cowboy boots, as the late great Spade Cooley did, the second best western swing performer. Yeah, I mean the thing about
a Hollywood actor taped his wife Madonna to a chair and beat her for hours.
With a salad oil bottle, if I recall correctly, or maybe it was burglars that Sean Penn beat up with a salad oil bottle, not Madonna. But
a friend of mine put a stereo system in his house in Marin when he was still married to Robin Wright, but while he was still screwing women in the Mission in San Francisco. Oh, did I just say that? Allegedly.
Who who? It was so confusing. I couldn't tell who you were referring to.
And so he's like putting in this super expensive stereo system, you know, sound theater in Sean Penn's house, and Sean's like talking to him, chatting, sitting on the couch. And at some point, Sean crosses his legs, and you can see that he's got an ankle holster carrying a .38.
Sean Penn, man, I would not step against Sean Penn. He does not seem like a fun fellow to get on the wrong side of. Loved him in Riverside High or whatever it was. Fast Times at I can't remember the name of the pivotal movie.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but you know, then screwing Scarlett Johansson, then that was it.
He screwed Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, and then for a while.
That's a demerit in your book?
Yes, it is for both of them.
For both of them, maybe for her, but I mean, I don't know. It's not a lot to get out of it on her.
No, because he forgot for a second that he was Sean Penn and fucked Scarlett Johansson. You know, he should have known right away. I'm Sean Penn. I can't ever have sex with this woman. You know, because I'm Sean Penn.
Why shouldn't Sean Penn have sex with Scarlett Johansson?
Because he should say, I'm Sean Penn. I'm a piece of human garbage. How is it possible that I would have sex with Scarlett Johansson? You know?
I see. Is he in the Anthony
Kiedis? Why can't you see that? Why can't
you
see
haven't
that?
filed under Anthony Kiedis for
yeah, that's right. You go down
Eugene Robinson, not just a failed MMA journalist, a failed SAG member as well. So.
Hey, there was one year where I got passed over for a Grammy, an Emmy, an Oscar, a Clio, and of course, my favorite MMA Journalist of the Year award. 5 opportunities to publicly shame me.
And see, now you were nominated in none of these categories, I'm assuming. You had just simply done work that you felt met the eligibility.
Correct.
Okay. Well, good to. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's more than. I mean.
The closest I came was in 2007 when Joe Ciccarelli got nominated for Best Producer of the Year for producing the Oxbow record, The Narcotics Story. And we're sitting in the seats, and they go, Best Producer of the Year. And I was like getting ready to jump up, even though I was next to Yoko Ono and way in the balcony, which the seating chart tells you all you need to know about winners and losers. You know, and they say, Amy Winehouse and Mick Ronson. I was like, what?
Mick Ronson produced an Amy Winehouse album?
Yeah, Samantha's brother, right? So, Samantha, also known as the former Miss Mrs. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan's girlfriend.
Not Mick Ronson, the David Bowie guitarist.
No.
Oh. Well, never mind.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I was actually, my ass was out of the seat. Like, Yoko was actually even looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Did you talk to Yoko?
No, I did not. She had a big white top hat on, and I was frightened.
I see. Well, I can't blame her. She's a scary lady. Ask Paul McCartney or any of the attorneys that have crossed swords with her and her empire about that. All right.
Nice knobs, though.
You know.
Hey, I'm no Matt Brown, man. I can say whatever I want.
It's true. It's true.
About 76-year-old women, especially. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, the card. Ryan Bader, OSP.
I care. I care, man.
Okay. The card as a whole, though. Gray Maynard, Ross Pearson.
I care.
All right. So let's run through it top to bottom. I mean, we're not going to pretend we're like lathering for Ryan Bader versus OSP, but if that was a mid card fight on a better card, I'd be more excited. But it is what it is. All right. So preliminary card, Fox Sports 2. This is Saturday night. Bantamweights: Nolan Tickman and Frankie Sains.
I don't give a crap.
Yeah, I don't care either. Sorry, guys. Middleweights: Tom Watson and Sam Alvey.
I care only because
Tom Watson.
Yeah, because I've made so much fun about Tom Watson, you know, for reasons that have nothing to do with his fight career. You know?
His British grappling.
No, not even his British grappling. I had a theory that, you know, there was a great story in one of those Alfred Hitchcock Presents books. He had a book series. And they had this thing about the world's greatest spy. And the world's greatest spy was the world's greatest spy because he was the single person on the planet who was most perfectly anonymous. 100 people could meet him, 100 people would forget him. And there's a guy I went to college with who was actually named Tom Watson. And I go, I mean, that's a perfect anonymous name. You hear that name, and 2 seconds later, you go, what? What's his name? Tom Watson. Who? Yeah, Tom. So that's become a personal meme for me. So when I heard that there was a fighter named Tom Watson, I go, Tom Watson, he's back. And
this guy's actually memorable. He puts on masks and puts on some pretty good tussles. So I care. Don't care about Sam Alvey yet. Maybe I will.
You gonna make a pick?
No, I haven't even had time to watch the vivisection. Dallas and the gang got carried away.
Dallas.
2 hours.
Let me tell you about that guy.
Listen to this. They did it. I love them. God bless them. They're trying. They know too much about MMA, and they have too much time on their hands because they did a 2-hour vivisection of this shit. So.
Well, I'm not gonna hate because I could do a 3-hour.
Yeah, but how much of that would have been talking about the fights?
What?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, this was almost all. I mean, they had a pretty funny 15-minute intro, but anyway, Sara McMann and Lauren Murphy.
Yep.
I do, and you know, did you hear Sara McMann start to engage in some smack talk this week?
Yeah, I did actually.
and hats off.
Yep.
I will get bald and ugly for that because Sara McMann infamously fought Ronda Rousey, Olympian versus Olympian, and did nothing. Her lips were sealed. You didn't even know Ronda Rousey had an opponent going to that fight, and now she's learned her lesson. Now she's talking shit about Cyborg.
No. I'd say it's totally different. I go, you throw yourself in a hole, you do whatever you need to do to get out of that hole. Going into that fight, she was not in a hole. She was standing above ground, and people were like, Olympian. And after that fight, people were like, oh, man.
Yeah, you got your ass kicked, girl.
Agony of defeat real, you know, so she had to do something.
Yeah, and so hats off to her, and I like her chances against Lauren Murphy. Any thoughts on this fight?
I'm pulling for Sara McMann. I think that, you know, the thing is, I'm not going to take it away anything from either of them. I would like to say that I think she got kind of not a raw deal, but just, you know, lousy throw of the dice on that one. But, you know, it happens so often with Ronda, you can't just say dice implies chance, and I'm not seeing it.
You know, the Vikings believed that luck was an objective quality that a person had. And when one Viking was getting into trouble with another Viking, they'd be like, well, your axe is as big as he is, and you're as mean a motherfucker as he is, but he's luckier than you are. I wouldn't tangle with him. And it's true in Ronda Rousey's case. She's got the whole package, and luck is a big part of it. on
Yeah,
top of skill.
I guess I saw her most recently pouring water over herself.
Was this in some charity thing?
Yeah, the whole charity thing.
That is.
Can I say for a second I'm not down with this?
It's the stupidest thing because pouring water does nothing, and it's not like you're cutting your face off, like you know, like I mean, I pour water on myself all the time. It has nothing to do. I'm about to get in the shower and pour water all over myself, you know, cold water because it's August in Texas, so you know whatever.
Okay, you can stop with the shower talk now.
I'll be clean next time.
I'm about to get in the shower and just
scrub it up. This
over myself. Okay, all right.
This little bald gnome is about to get soapy. That's what's happening. All right. Flyweights. Juicy Formiga versus Zach Makovsky.
Yes.
Care, absolutely. Who you picking in this battle of the former Bellator bantamweight champion Makovsky and the man in Formiga who many thought would be the #1 flyweight in the world? He was tops in the Tai Chi Palace days.
Yep.
Now he's been exposed as a one-trick pony, perhaps.
I'm gonna have to go with Makovsky.
Yeah, me too. Formiga, it's just a different day, man. You can't, and he's improved his game, the well-roundedness of his game, but he's still Makovsky's. I don't know that he's gonna make a title run. He might get a title shot. The division's fairly thin, but he's a tough kid, fast, skilled, got heart. All right, moving on to the main card. It's a 6-fight main card on Fox Sports 1. Featherweights. Thiago Tavares, I believe, making his featherweight debut, former longtime lightweight, and Robbie Peralta. Thoughts on this?
Care.
Absolutely care here.
Yeah. I was a Tavares. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, remember when he almost beat Tyson Griffin back when that meant something? And
man, fucking shit. This is an unforgiving sport, man.
Is it?
Sometimes you can bring up somebody's name and you go, God, what? Tyson Griffin?
Do you remember how he mauled Uriah Faber?
Yeah, and in the where are they now category.
Yes. But when they fought, man, Tyson left him in a heap, and for a long time that was Faber's only loss. And I mean, Tyson.
Hold on. What happened to Tyson? That's actually a compelling question.
He got hurt a lot and had a couple losses. Tried to move down to featherweight and got cut. So that's essentially what happened to Tyson. And Tyson, I think, was a victim of the great extreme couture diaspora. Randy Couture, one of the great fighters, certainly a great commentator. I even enjoyed his Gym Rescue show, sorta, when I put it on because they sent me a free copy.
Oh, that was terrible, man.
Well, I like Frank.
What?
I like Frank Shamrock. I can't help it.
He was terrible, man.
He is terrible. That's part of the beauty of Frank Shamrock.
He was. Why? If you're Frank Shamrock, why would you not invest the time to take fucking acting lessons? Why would you not do that?
You think that would help?
It couldn't hurt.
Maybe it does hurt. I don't know. He acts like it does, but I mean, I don't know. Frank Shamrock's a strange, off-putting cat, and Randy Couture is too. And I saw glimpses of.
You know what? You know what I would really like. What I would really prefer. If you're gonna talk about Frank Shamrock in a reality TV setting, you just gotta let Frank be fucking Frank. Man.
Exactly.
And he fails with me when he tries to. People are calling John Jones fake. I'm gonna have to say it that I find the separation between who Frank Shamrock has to tell people he is versus who he really is. I mean, I enjoy out-of-control egomania, megalomania as much as anybody else, but it's really unattractive when the guy's got to try to pressure cook that stuff down into a single, pro-social pot.
It's true. The thing with Frank, though, this is a classic Miltonic tragedy, is that Frank's run at the top of the sport was one of the great accomplishments ever. I mean, It's like, imagine if somebody rolled into the UFC light heavyweight division today, and beat Gustafsson, beat Cormier, beat Jones, moved up to heavyweight and beat somebody there. I mean, this was a division that was chaos with 5 or 6 different guys at the top of the division. Right. Frank rolled through them one after the other. He was the underdog in every single fight. Right. He dismantled all of them with brains and strategy and perfect execution of brilliant game plans, all the way up to Tito Ortiz, who was the future champ, clearly, the better athlete and the bigger fighter, destroyed Tito. I mean, he didn't outpoint him, he didn't GSP him. He left him crying and beaten, And so, but nobody was watching. Literally nobody was watching. And now he's shit all over the bed with Dana and the Fertittas. They don't promote his old stuff. So he's like this king without a crown, man. You know, and so if he acts like he thinks he is, and some of the respect he deserves, because to me, he's right up there with Boss Rutan or Hoist Gracie or, you know, Sakuraba, any of those guys of his era.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
And should be allowed to swagger around like a Hall of Famer, but nobody saw those fights. They've seen him on Showtime win some, lose some. Seen him on Showtime being a pretty mediocre announcer. And, you know, so it's kind of like me. I have to keep my greatness under a rock too, Eugene.
I don't know. You know, your bushel under, your fire under. But no, you'll understand these reference points right away. Facing the crowd, Andy Griffith.
Yes.
And a giant. Last 10 minutes, a giant with James Dean. These are the characterizations. I mean, fundamentally, you know, Knuckle Up is a version of that light. You know, a showcase for bitterness and spite.
Because you're driving around in a Corolla or whatever, so it's like, you know.
Hey, no longer Corolla. Now I got myself a 2002 Dodge Intrepid.
A Dodge Intrepid, huh?
A car of crisis.
That is, like, we're in the car market because my wife got totaled by some 17-year-old, and so.
Me too. It's probably the same 17-year-old, man.
It could well be, man. But she had insurance and the whole bit. But it's still like, look, I'm not signing on for car payments, kids. Like, if you want to drive around in a flashy car, all that tells me is, somebody has a credit card and got some debt on the books. Because, like, I'm not fronting with the housewives that you know, my 2 daily trips out of the house. I don't give a shit what the middle class ladies of Austin think of me as I drive around that shitty car.
I went to a car dealership, and the guy's like trying to do his car deal thing. I said, "Look, my car was totaled. Insurance is $5,000. What do you got for $5,000?" He goes, "Well, we gotta go." You don't get it. That's all I got. That's all you're getting. Goes,
and you should have done some Craigslist due diligence, man. You could get a better deal for that than an Intrepid.
No, I did. I had my phone there. I looked up. That's not bad. With 80,000 miles on it.
That's not too bad. Not too bad. Maybe I don't know. I'm an unpatriotic citizen. I stick with those Japanese cars that don't leave you on the side of the road. I grew up with the mom with American cars that.
Yeah, but my 1965 Chevy Chevelle Malibu will be offline in like a couple weeks. So I don't.
That's pretty hot. But anyway, back to the action. Tavares and Peralta, the mighty have fallen, or not the semi-mighty, the maybe almost gonna be mighty, but Tavares, can he take Peralta?
Do you mean when you say can I? Do you mean will I pick Peralta?
Yes.
All right. Just to keep things interesting, I will.
All right. I don't even know if I can make it interesting. I'm not sure if Tavares can do it, but it might be a spin course. All right. Heavyweights, Sean Jordan and Jack May.
Yeah, I care. I care about heavyweights always.
Yeah, and Sean Jordan has shown me some fun stuff.
Yep.
So, Jack May.
Sean Jordan's in a weird place as well, you know?
Yes.
I mean, he's like one of those guys that you were like, oh, shit, Sean Jordan. All right, man, we'll see you.
Yeah, he's got 2 losses in a row, got floored by Gonzaga and Matt Mitrione, so he is where he is. Jack May might be the pick to make. Again,
what? Jack May? You're going to pick
I may.
Coach Dreamcrush is giving me the finger as he leaves the building.
That's thoughtful of him.
He's a pretty supportive coach that way.
Well, Eugene, some people need to be built up, and some people need to be held down.
hence Knuckle Up being a showplace for bitterness and spite.
Exactly. And the thing with Dusty Rhodes, the Andy Griffith character, and facing the crowd, and James Dean after the oil strike, is they had their fuck you money, you know? Like, Dusty Rhodes was the big star. James Dean's oil well came in. We're just, our fuck you money is out there waiting for us.
But you know what? You know what I find curious in all the hubbub about Robin Williams passing, which I'm not really jumping on that bandwagon necessarily, but because his kid went to my kid's school, 2 years older than my kid, but he did all the school events, and so I think if you're leaving behind your 19-year-old son, it's kind of sort of a drag. But anyway, one of the things they said that I thought that was interesting, compelling, was Robin Williams' money problems. I was like,
some people do a lot with a little, and some people do a little with a lot. I mean,
and then they said, well, they showed his house.
How many more problems, Eugene?
I wouldn't know.
Me neither.
I wouldn't know.
Me neither.
And they said, well, he was very generous. And I was like, generous? Everybody's upset about Robin Williams, and yet nobody cares about my plight of only able to get fucking $13 worth of gas at a gas station. There's universal sadness about Robin Williams, but I don't see people candlelight vigils when I go to the 76 station and can only get $13 worth of gas.
He made millions of people laugh, and then he put out a lot of movies that, for whatever reason, made people feel good. But
Patch Adams.
I never saw it. I saw. Did you see Nick Diaz's tribute to Robin Williams? It's actually kind of sweet. He posted a big picture of the Hook, like a Hook box or something, and it was like, I was like 15 and thought Hook was creepy because Steven Spielberg getting it to work with a lot of young boys, and I was just not for me, man. But for Nick Diaz, who was 5, apparently it was like this meaningful childhood magic, and so I thought that was sweet to know that the Diaz brothers had this innocent moment. So anyway,
hold on. Let's look at our bitterness and spite schedule, and I see there at number 7, I see a Eugene Robinson playing Captain Hook in a musical theater thing, and so when the movie Hook comes out, I was like, oh, great. I guess it would be too much to ask for them to have called me, huh?
Dustin Hoffman edged you out there, Eugene, but you were...
I know all the songs. Why can't they have me reprise my role? But anyway, it's not about me.
You gotta let the sun go down on your grievances, Eugene. Gotta let your sun go.
What would I be without my grievances? Okay, good.
All right. So Sean Jordan and Jack May, maybe last chance. All right,
I'm gonna pick Sean.
Yeah, I gotta go with Sean too. Welterweight, Seth Brzezinski and Alan Juban.
Yeah.
Brzezinski, he had me caring for a while. He lost me. I'm going to give him a provisional care. This is my last care for Seth Brzezinski. Juban has not made.
I love his work as a Unabomber. That was really good stuff.
He was right about the environment. I think Tom has told us. And the hand carved wooden bombs, man. Like, who else made organic bombs?
Hey, man. Hey, I did a live show report on the AVN show back when I was covering it for some porn site. And I kept up a steady line of patter for about 30 minutes that misidentified every single porn star. And they pulled the plug on me right when like some older black cat came in with some porn star. I don't even know who he was. And I go, all right, man, here, it's really nice to see Desmond Tutu show up. And that was it.
Some of us are not fit for public consumption, Eugene. That's just where we are in this world. That's where we are. That's a good gag, though.
While it lasted, anyway.
I watched the Fred Willard performance in Best in Show and modeled my emceeing on that.
Right. Oh, Fred Willard, great. America Tonight and Fernwood Tonight, really classic.
Yes. Fernwood Tonight in particular. All right, middleweights, Tim Boetsch and Brad Tavares.
Yes, care.
Yes,
I care
absolutely.
because Tim Boetsch has been out there. Not completely lost battalionized, but pretty freaking close, man.
He's wandering around in the woods looking for his way home, man.
Guys.
Indeed. Indeed.
I care. Who you gonna pick?
I got to go with... They're both kind of been disappointing lately, but I got to go with Tavares. I just think he has a little more juice in his battery than old Tim.
All right, good. Okay, so we got some juice because I'm gonna say Boetsch.
Friction.
Nobody likes being lost.
No, nobody likes being lost. All right, now we're talking about tragedies. Ross Pearson versus Gray Maynard. Yeah, we care a lot because Gray Maynard, 2 of the greatest fights ever. His 2 out of the 3 fights of his trilogy with Frankie Edgar. And here we are. Look where we are now. I mean, this is a guy who reached the mountaintop and fell from the very summit of the sport and fell hard.
Yeah. I keep thinking of the movie The Duelist.
Ooh, The Duelists. It was one of the Carradines and
Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel got fired from Apocalypse Now. Great movie, Ridley Scott's first movie. If you haven't seen it,
I'm seeing Gray Maynard as a Harvey Keitel character.
Yeah, he just I don't know though. It seems like he's lost some of his drive. Keitel was always coming for Carradine in that movie, and it seems like Maynard, like maybe if you put Frankie Edgar in front of him, he would step up, but he seems pretty disheartened when he's not fighting Frankie Edgar.
Well, you know what? The thing is, I mean, that's what's great about this sport, man. What's great about this sport is that it brings you face to face with you, you know. And somebody came out, actually on Ozzy today, there's an article about how Malcolm Gladwell is essentially full of shit. You know, Malcolm Gladwell has got this whole 10,000 hour thing, which really ties into this American conception of egalitarianism. So that if I invest 10,000 hours, well, somebody actually did some testing and said, you know, what would happen to you if you put 10,000 hours in golf, or went through all these different things, and they came back with, if you put 10,000 hours in something, the percentage increase in your quality of performance will be, and they broke it down, like golf, if you 10,000 hours in the golf, you would only, given a base level of generalized skill, you would only get 30% better. And then they went down the scale of, like, you know, quantum physics, 10,000 hours of quantum physics, you would only get 4% better, or 6% better. You know, sometimes facing you is a hard fucking thing to do. You could put 10,000 hours. I could put 10. Maybe if I put myself in the scale, I could put 10,000 hours in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I will still only improve my skill level 7%. Would I still continue if somebody could show me the printout that said, "You man, 10 years, 10,000 hours, you're only getting better by 7%." Is that worth it? And I think I would probably start 7%. 7%.
Well, you gotta love
7%,
what you're doing.
That's not bad. 7%, I would take it, maybe.
Yeah, you gotta love what you're doing, whether you're good at it or not. But this whole idea that everybody who put in 10,000 hours is going to be John Lennon and Paul McCartney. I mean, I could go on a Beatle rant at any moment, so don't start me. The Beatles could become my Nazis, Eugene. But those cats, I've read that whole mammoth biography that came out. Have you seen this? That 1,700-page biography of these guys that goes up to 1962, where the guy is a professional Beatles scholar and literally has unearthed every documentable fact ever about these over-documented guys.
He's insane.
Well, it's a good gig, man, if you're into scholarly research. Like, it's not the best writer, but I've read a lot of scholarly research, and this guy's one of the best researchers ever. Eugene is totally bored and turned off that I'm talking about the Beatles, hates the Beatles.
No. Somebody just showed up here. He's probably gonna try to murder me. So.
Let's see. Well, we gotta keep moving. But I just want to say.
Oh yeah, I like that sympathy. We gotta get to the end of the show.
Mr. Concealed Carry, Mr. Purple Belt, Mr. 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. If I was 6 feet tall and 210 pounds for just one day, Eugene, just one day.
Hey, you know what? It was shocking. Last night I saw a guy who an old roommate of mine who I haven't seen in 22 years. The first thing when he saw me walk into his place, he goes, "What happened to you?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're small now." What are you talking about? He goes, and I remember he knew me when I was 265 pounds, man.
And he loved you for it. He loved all that steroided mass.
Oh, he's told all these terrible stories that I'm going to have to deny about. Oh, and then next thing I know, Eugene's got a gun in the guy's face for a $20 bicycle. I was like, you know, and there are people around who I'm trying to get to believe I'm sane, you know. I'm like, oh, he exaggerates.
Yeah, you're not going to be seeing any of my old friends on this show. I'll tell you.
Yeah, right. No, that was a big mistake. Yeah.
Actually, the lead singer of one of my old bands is threatening to get back on the internet and do a show with me and expose all my mistales. So,
great. The first time we had a double teaming, you just, hey man,
no.
I'm running for president.
All right. Gray Maynard, Ross Pearson, sad. Who's going to win this?
You know, this is actually strange because my pick in this instance is determined by not who I think is going to win, but who will make me less sad when they lose.
I don't have as much invested in Pearson to get that sad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to pick Pearson because no, I'm going to do the other way. I'm going to pick. Let's see. Hold on. If Maynard loses, I'm going to be more sad for him than if Pearson loses.
So you're picking Maynard, based on that. But
I don't think I can give it. Huh?
That's got nothing to do with the logical case for who's going to win. Strictly who you want to win.
Good logic? What are you, a scientist?
Exactly. So, yeah, he lost that split decision with Diego Sanchez, which was bullshit. Had the no contest loss to Melvin Guillard, which he probably would have lost anyway, but Melvin screwed up again. And then before that, he smoked Ryan Couture and George Soteropoulos for what that's worth.
Yeah.
So
Ryan Couture is
Yeah, it is what it is. So, but
I'd like to see Ryan Couture fight Kim Couture. That'd be a good fight.
Somebody could make some money off that.
Yeah.
Anyway, now here we are, the main event. Ryan Bader and Ovince St. Preux. We've got a guy who got smoked. He never got to fight for a title, but he fought some former champions and some future champions. Didn't make the cut against a guy who may or may not be on his way up the ladder.
I don't know. I don't trust OSP, man.
He's got 4-fight UFC winning streak.
Yeah.
Nikita Krylov. How about these names? Ryan Jimmo, Nikita Krylov, Cody Donovan, John Vellante, Rogues Gallery of Greatness that he has met and passed by.
He makes me nervous, man. He makes me nervous. It's like, I've become so sensitized to gicks and the gifters that it's making me sort of gun shy, It's like I watch his fights, I'm like,
are you saying you don't believe in the Tennessee Volunteers football program?
Man, this is like the prelude to a bar fight. Are you saying you don't care? Actually, yes. No.
Southeastern Conference, baby, SEC.
Yeah. Hold on. Can you talk for 30 seconds while I get?
I can talk for 30 seconds. I'll go ahead and do this Beatles rant that Eugene would never do, because here's the deal with the Beatles and this 10,000 hours thing. Admittedly, the Beatles were a crappy band before they practiced or played as a band, but McCartney and Lennon could always sing. They were notable as that from Tiny Children. Within 2 weeks of their first tour, they came back to Liverpool and were already remarkably improved. Within weeks of being in Hamburg playing all the time, they were the best band in Hamburg. So those guys were going to do things if they applied themselves, no matter what. Anyway, all right. I went on my Beatles rant while you were gone, Eugene. It was.
I'm glad it only took 20 seconds.
It was a furtive and ugly secret, but it was shared. All right. So, Tennessee Volunteers, Ovince St. Preux, Ryan Bader. What do you think?
I'm going to pick Bader. He's a friend of Knuckle Up, and I've never had the sense with him that he's threatening to turn into a gift at any point at all. He's been a pretty reliable quality.
Yeah, he's still a relatively young guy. He's serious. He's training hard. He trains with a good team. He's got a good skill set. He hits hard. He's mean. Ovince St. Preux hits hard and is mean and is a tough guy, but I don't think he trains with as good a team, and I don't think he has the skill set. Bader has decades of wrestling behind him.
Yeah.
And OSP, I don't even know how good. What did he play for the Volunteers anyway? Was he a lineman?
I know zero about football. I always have to fake it.
Yeah.
So that people don't assume immediately that I'm a homosexual. Guys always do that to me. Like they're like, those Texas Longhorns, and I'm supposed to go, yeah, man, that wide receiver. I don't know anything. So it's like, then all of a sudden you become suspect. And the guys, like, if you're hanging out in a lot of bars, guys, then when they get suspicious of you, then they do stuff like, say, they look at you and they kind of go, chicks, huh? And I always reject that, because it's like, hey, man, if you're uncomfortable with the possibility that I'm gay, that's
Can you imagine if you had been at the Battle of the Bulge and gotten lost from your unit and wandered into a strange unit and they asked you the old questions like, Mickey Mantle, or not, Mickey Mantle wasn't a 40s guy, but like, Joe DiMaggio, what position does he play? And you're like, I don't watch baseball.
Yeah, or Stalag 17 when that's how they uncovered the German spy, man.
Yep. Classic movie right there. I love some William Holden.
Well, of course, they say William Holden was like that, or actually kind of like that in real life.
Yeah, like all the great stars, he wasn't so much an actor. He was projecting a persona, and apparently he lived it. Have you ever read about William Holden's tragic death?
No.
It was, I believe the L.A. Coroner had this ghoulish book about Natalie Wood and Sharon Tate and all the celebrities he had the honor of having on his slab, his cold steel slab.
Yep.
And he said William Holden was old and alone and drunk, and he fell and cut his head on an ashtray. It was so fucked up that they could tell that he had sort of tried to apply first aid, but the blood was so thin and he was so hammered that he just sort of put on like a crazy town version of a head bandage and then laid down in bed, kept drinking, and bled to death, all alone in his
I didn't know that, man.
empty old luxury apartment, man. See, Eugene, aren't you glad it didn't end up this way?
Well, I like the fact that he had an apartment. We did an article on Jaimin Hunsu, and the guy who did the interview was like, "Yeah, I went to his place."
Who's Jaimin Hunsu? We got an illiterate, culturally illiterate audience.
Amistad, the black cat from Amistad,
yes.
African guy, right? And he's had a couple. He started out in the Janet Jackson video, and then boom, boom, had a couple of big. I go, oh shit, where does Jaimin Hunsu live? He goes, he lives right around the corner. I go, where? Those apartments right off of, I was like, I knew those apartments. I was like, no. Jaimin Hunsu was playing it close to the vest, man, because you never know when the gravy train stops.
It's true. It's true. That's very smart.
And who's that comedian guy from Mad TV, Orlando Jones, as well? Yeah, he said, oh, come over to the house. Eugene went over to his house. This is basic 2-story, really small house, right in Beverly Hills. It's like, smart move, man. Never know. And he was in The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis. He had a couple of big movies. Fuck that, Jack. I'm not going back.
Yeah, you don't know when it's going to end. That's very wise. Don't be like John Fitch with 3 mortgages and 4 cars
or John McCain. John McCain's doing all right.
I think McCain. Don't start me on John McCain. Not today.
Or when I interviewed Holyfield. That was something my tour manager once said. He came to see me in Hamburg when I was on Apple's dime, staying in the best hotel in Hamburg. He might, don't get used to this. Holyfield, I looked at his, inspired by Scarface Mansion. I was like, don't get used to this, Jay.
And
a garage full of Rolls Royces.
Yeah, it went away fast, and that's how it do. That's how it do. Just like our show, when the two of us get talking, the time does fly for some people, I guess. But
time flies when you're having bitter fun.
when 2 middle-aged guys are grousing about failure, time just sails by. And the kids here, we're catching on like wildfire. Anyway, give us a like on the YouTube video. That's the thumb below the screen. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube. Read us at BloodyElbow.com. You can also read Eugene at Aussie.com and at Vice Fightland.
Yep.
And watch for him at the MMA Awards, because this could be his year. Eugene, you're on Twitter also.
I'm talking to Josh Thompson this weekend. How? I'm at the doctor's office yesterday. I look up Josh. And it's always weird when you see somebody at the doctor's, because you don't want to be indelicate.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? Turns out, dude's got maybe be out of school to say what he's got.
Some kind of embarrassing skin rash?
No, he's got cauliflower nose.
Cauliflower nose. That sounds painful. So you guys patched it up and had a little chat. I'm
gonna come down to his show. It'll be. I told the photographer. I'm gonna interview him for Vice's Fightland, and I'm gonna take a special segment out for Knuckle Up. And I told the photographer, take photos fast.
Excellent. Well, it ought to be interesting to see a meeting of the minds on gay marriage and the other topics on which you disagree. So, look forward to that. Follow Eugene Robinson at Eugene S. Robinson, not to be confused with Washington Post columnist who's
Eugene H. Robinson.
Eugene H. What's the deal with all the black guys of that era being named Eugene Robinson? Is there some Eugene Robinson out there that was...
Especially, I'm a junior.
A junior. I see. So the name
I'm technically not a junior. I talked to my 85-year-old grandmother, and she, strangely enough, said just junior. Your father's name is not Eugene.
Don't make me tell you a story about your grandmother, man. I almost feel bad about it.
You should feel bad about it.
That's the kind of, as the guys working the construction site next door can tell you, I am a total asshole. So, there's just, what can I do at this point? My ex-wife told me, you're not an asshole, Nathan. That's just something you say to give yourself an excuse to act like an asshole. Stop.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
She had a lot of devistating lines.
I had an ex who asked me, what's the difference between you and a scumbag? I go, does this have a punchline? And I go, well, I'll tell you what the difference is. I own my scumbaggery, and most scumbags avoid being publicly identified as such. That's the difference.
Speaking of which, did you see Chael Sonnen come clean and admit that he was cheating?
No, I didn't see this.
Can you believe that? I really am like, holy shit. I did not believe Chael Sonnen was capable of that, and so I'm going to read that.
You know what makes a man capable? He's got 250,000 reasons.
Indeed, indeed. You think they're really going to hit him with that?
Why not?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Why not?
It's harsh though. They gave him some mixed messages and told him he could do it. He signed the contract, and then they say he can't, and not even clear they have jurisdiction. Anyway, so we'll be on top of that Chael Sonnen story coming up. Believe you me. I'm at KidNate on Twitter. What else do we need to do? YouTube, Bloody Hell. We did all the references. I believe we've done our show.
We're done. We're done.
So Eugene will be back on Monday with Knuckle Up. I will have a 6th round after the fights on Saturday, hopefully with Zane Simon. And then onward and upward, it's UFCs all the way out. And unfortunately, thanks to John Jones and Alistair Overeem, we don't have the big Jones-Cormier fight to look forward to, but hopefully the sun will rise again. And, of course, I'm proud to say this.
I got to work on a meme for Zane, you know.
I've already got a meme for Zane, but it's too hard, so I felt bad about this. The first time I had him on a show, it was because he violently disagreed with me about some decision. And so I did my rant, and then I, introduced him as, a alien body infecting the show, and introduced him as that fucking, I go, only a fucking idiot would have believed this. And here he is, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, that fucking idiot, Zane Simon. So that's his meme. It's too cruel, though, but... And
no,
then...
it's not.
I don't think so. Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's the meme. That fucking idiot, Zane Simon, is the meme.
No, I was thinking more of, you say Zane Simon, then I go, which is so fucking creepy. You know, what does that mean?
He'll have to wonder about that, won't he? He'll probably be the only one who does. All right, Eugene, well, thanks again. Always a pleasure. Watch for his Knuckle Up on Monday, guys. Adios, MMA aficionados. We've made it through another show.
All right, see you.